Welcome to GoldenComm podcast. We are continuing with our case study series, and today I'm sitting down with Brock. Thanks for joining me. Introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Of course, thanks for having me. My name is Brock Ricci. I'm part of the online marketing group at GoldenComm, and we're just talking about one of my clients, so I'm here to join the podcast today.
Yes, and our case studies are such a special deep dive into some of our most incredible, great results projects, and this one has had what I think everyone in the marketing team has said, unbelievable results. If you showed anyone these results, they would tell you you were lying.
Yeah,
so I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk about this one. So the client that we're talking about today is White Chip Insurance. So just give the preview of what is White Chip Insurance, what did they come to GoldenComm for, what service did we provide?
Yeah, so White Chip Insurance is a insurance company that is based in Tampa, Florida specifically. So he was really trying to nail down that local area of Tampa and then eventually, all of Florida. But he really came to us for a lead gen website, really just quick, try to get the people through, the form as quick as possible, whether that's either calling the agents or getting, the quotes right away or as quick as possible. So that was, his main goal with coming to us with White Chip was to create a brand as well that we'll get into. But it was really just a lead gen website at its finest.
Yeah, so let's look at the website together because I feel like we did such a nice job of building this brand. We created this lovely poker chip avatar. Does he have a name?
Chip. It's real original.
Classic.
Yeah.
And this doesn't even do it justice because I feel like this entire website and form was centered around being mobile friendly and someone being on their phone, filling out a form to get a quote and wanting to be able to call and talk to a human being at any point in the process. There was so much thought that went into the experience of this for a user, and I feel like our chief delivery officer and our UI UX experts really just put so much consideration into that. So can you speak to that a little bit and what you saw?
Yeah. Our chief delivery officer, Brian Daly, really, took this on kind of himself to go through and add a lot of logic to the form, but not make it too cumbersome for the user to get through it and finish it. So a lot of thought, a lot of testing went into it, whether, it be taking out some questions that aren't necessarily necessary for, the insurance companies to get a quote, and just making the form as smooth as possible with, not stacking up a bunch of questions on one page, constantly having the user go to the next page when one question is answered. So that was a lot of the consideration for the White Chip form. Like you said, mobile first was one of our biggest things, just based on the clientele that and the demographics that we're kind of going after with White Chip. We wanted to, we realized with looking at analytics, the majority of people are coming in and using their mobile device through White Chip. So we wanted to make sure that was an emphasis when building the site and the form as well. And then, another thing with the form, like if we were to go through it and you'll see right below the find cheap rates, there's a call button. There's constantly call buttons throughout the entire form. So if any user is getting stuck up on a question, they're not sure how to answer it, or they just don't want to go through all the questions themselves, they can call an agent right away. Every page of the form has a little call button, a call to action there. So they can call an agent, and then the agent can walk them through the whole process and get them signed up right away. So that was, a lot of the emphasis was just making this as smooth as possible and trying to get the user to the end of the form to eventually get the quote that they were looking for.
Yeah, so since insurance is such a big business, how does White Chip Insurance set itself apart? How do you approach that from a marketing standpoint? What kind of strategies are you implementing for a business like this?
Yeah, so like I kind of mentioned in the beginning, White Chip really wanted to focus, they're Tampa-based. They really wanted to lock down that local market there in Tampa. It's obviously a big market. It's not like a small market still. It's in Florida. Tampa's a big city, so still a big market, but just try to localize it as much as possible, nail down that, and then start moving to the rest of Florida, and then eventually we'll get to the rest of the United States. But Yeah, so locally, we built out, if you look at the bottom of the page in the footer, you'll see a bunch of lists of cities, Florida, kind of the top cities in Florida. We made, a bunch of city pages is what we call them, locally specific with, rates of what you could find in Tampa and a bunch of information if a user was looking to kind of learn a little bit more of the car insurance in that city, or the city that they live in. So that was one of the main things was, creating those city pages. At the end of the day, it also helps with our SEO. If someone were to search for a certain keyword that we have in here, like cheap car insurance in Tampa is kind of one of the main ones that we're going after. So this page really gives, Google exactly what they need when either searching for this term, page is what's going to pop up with a lot of information. And then also, as you saw at the top, the form is still there, the calls are still there. Everything that we want the user to end up doing is still very evident right at the top of the screen above the fold. So that will hopefully get them to call or start filling out the form.
And I know White Chip in particular, this project, it's so technically heavy. And what is so fun about it is it's so simple on the front end. We're making it as simple and easy to use. You only get one form question at a time. It seems so easy and like nothing is going on, but it's definitely like the wizard behind the curtain type of situation where you have so many moving parts, so many platforms integrated into one system. So tell me a little bit more about that and the integrations that they do have and how we're leveraging those.
Yeah, 100%. So, there's 11, I believe, integrations within the White Chip, kind of in the back end. You don't see it. Like you said, it is very basic to the first eye when you look at it. But, like I also said, Brian and our team, the UI, UX of this website really wanted to make sure there's a lot of logic in the form. So if someone were to answer a certain question one way, they'd get this question. Just a lot of logic, but in the user's experience, it's very simple. It's easy. It's quick to get through. So, a lot of integrations. We use, TurboRater is one of the ones for car insurance specifically, where that's where we'll get all the information we get through the form. We have an integration with TurboRater. They push back the quote that we will give them or give the user. It just makes it a seamless kind of experience for everybody. And like I said, 11 integrations. One of the ones kind of going back to the local that we were trying to lock down. He has 3 locations for White Chip Insurance. And so if you know about Google My Business or you're looking on maps for a certain company, there's a lot of work that goes into making sure all that information is correct. And there's hundreds of different listings that people use, whether it's Yellow Pages, Yelp, all those type of things. So, one of the integrations that we like to use is Yext. So it's a platform where you put all the information of the business, and then that one hub of information gets pushed to all the 100 different listings. Some that you don't think of, but you still get some traffic. Obviously, Google My Business and probably Apple Maps are the top 2 in terms of traffic that's coming in, but you never know what the user could be looking on for, car insurance or find when they're scrolling through the web. So you want to make sure all that information is the same across every platform. And so that's what we use Yext for. And yeah, some other hyper-local, phone numbers as well. Users like to have a number on the site that matches, their area code. It makes them more, willing to give them a call, because it is obviously a local phone number. So that's another thing that we had implemented. But yeah, there's a ton of integrations, and we just tried to make it, like you said, kind of hidden in the back end. It's simple to the user, but at the grand scheme of things, it's pretty complicated when we had built it out. But I think it works great. It looks good. It's really smooth. So we're very happy with how it came out.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's get to the fun part, because we said some of these results on this is unbelievable. So let's talk a little bit about those. What is your favorite, stat or growth metric for this platform?
Yeah, it's hard to pick one. I kind of like all of them.
They all are good.
They're all great, yeah. So, when we had first built White Chip, he had an original site that he was using for just trying to get some leads coming in. And that site was bringing in, conversion rate at 0.12%. So less than 1% of people who are going to the site are actually converting. With this new site that we built, it's up to 44%. So every time a person comes in, or 100 people come in, 44 of those 100 people are filling out a form, giving us a call, whatever it may be. So that's a huge, obviously a huge increase. And, based on the industry average of insurance companies, it's normally around 9, obviously give or take, but 9% industry average, and we're getting 44%.
Yeah, 5 times.
Yeah, is
5x.
Is amazing. So, and I think a lot of that comes down to, like we had just talked about, a lot of the work beforehand, thinking this all out, putting a lot of logic into the site and the form. The design looks great from Johnny too. So everything kind of came together, and you see the product of it all now with the 44% conversion
and
rate.
that rate doesn't even include the phone calls. That's just people who are completing those forms. So if you include people who are given a call in the middle or just at the start, I mean, the numbers are amazing.
100%. Yeah, 100%. One of the big things that I like with the form, when you start it, you put in your contact information right away. And that information, right when you press submit on that first page, is sent to the agents. So they already have, the information to call you if they see that you're kind of stuck on a question or taking a while to fill out the form. They have that information where they can call you, walk you through the process, and then, hopefully get the quote at the end of the day. So that's one of my favorite things is seeing that, just because it helps with engaging the user as quick as possible. And if they were to, people get confused or they get sidetracked when they're doing something, so having that contact information to call them back and say, hey, I know you're interested in car insurance, we'd be happy to help you get the best rate possible. So that's kind of what White Chip's built on.
Yeah. And one exciting milestone that they had that we hadn't touched on is the launch of the healthcare.gov integration. So it started out just car insurance, focused solely on the auto industry, but then also incorporated Obamacare now. So how has that impacted the boom of the White Chip insurance business?
Yeah, the Obamacare health side of it all, you'll see it. It's, car insurance, health insurance, the 2 top things, and they're right there on the homepage to start whatever you may need. But yeah, ever since we launched the Obamacare part of the site, like you said, the healthcare.gov integration, similar to the Turbo Rater integration, helps us get the rates, which free plans that we can get through Obamacare that the user can sign up for right away and get health insurance that day. But since launching that, we've seen a 400% increase in monthly conversions on average, but a huge increase of conversions coming in through the Obamacare health insurance. But at the same time, a lot of it is cross-selling too. So if someone's there for car insurance, they see the Obamacare health insurance, they fill out that form as well, and then vice versa. So it's a lot of the cross-selling, which is great. It's a lot of the same type of demographics that we're going after, so it's perfect to have them both on the same site and very easy for the user to go through the form or give us a call too.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll do even more growth, more expansion.
There's
planning.
More to come right now. I will tell you that. We are working on something else for White Chip, so we'll see how that progresses in the next couple months.
Yeah, maybe we'll be back for another case study.
Yeah.
Same client, but new results.
I'll be here. I'll wear a different color shirt.
So we can prove it's a new
different.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sitting down, talking about this project. It really is one of the most special ones that I think we've put together yet, and I'm so excited to see where it goes, all the great success it's going to have. So stay tuned for other case studies, other projects that we're talking about, and thanks to Rock.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.